Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and in this video we are going to learn about network hacking and system hacking. Okay, so get ready with this. It's going to be an exciting session. Alright, so let's get started. So first thing, okay, the first and the foremost thing which we have to understand is about port scanning. So in the previous session you must have gone through what are ports, right? So as you know, different ports run different services or applications, and that's how we achieve multitasking in our computer machine. Okay, so there are different ports on which there are different services are running. So some of those services are registered, some of those like ports are basically registered, and some of the ports are well-known ports, so we cannot use that. But apart from that, we can use the other ports. So if I want to create my custom application, if I want to run on a particular port, I can use the unused port and I can host my application onto that port. Okay, so this is how we can achieve multitasking. Now here the main thing is port scanning, because if I want to get into anyone's system, port would be the entry door for me. Okay, if I want to get into anyone's network, port would be an entry door for me. So understand, network hacking always starts with hacking into one system. It could be any system. It could be a computer machine, it could be a mobile phone, it could be a fax machine, it could be a printer, it could be anything. So network hacking starts with system hacking. So if we are able to hack into one system, then we can consider that particular system as a pivot, and we can do lateral movement. So that's of course on a later stage, but as of now we just need to understand about the basics of port scanning. What are the different techniques of port scanning, how we can do that, how we can use nmap to scan different different ports with with the help of different options. So all that thing is included in this session. Okay, so let's get started. So port scanning refers to surveillance of computer ports, most often by hackers for malicious purposes. Hackers conduct port scanning techniques in order to locate holes within specific computer ports. So I've just told you all this, right? There are 65535 ports in each IP address, and hackers may scan each and every one to find out whether they are secure or not. Alright? Now, there are a couple of port scanners available, but the best port scanner is Nmap. The best port scanner which every hacker is using today is Nmap. Nmap stands for Network Mapper, and that's the best port scanner tool. It also does it also does have a lot of features nowadays. Like Nmap scripting engine is a very good feature of Nmap. So of course we are going to discuss bit of it in the later session. So Nmap is a security scanner originally written by Gordon Leon, used to discover hosts and services on a computer network, thus creating a map of the network, and that's why it's called as a network mapper. To accomplish its goal, Nmap sends specially crafted packets to the target host and then analyze the responses. So on a network layer we have packets. Okay, so Nmap sends a specially crafted packets to analyze whether the target host is having which ports open, is running on which operating system, what service is running, what is the version, etc, etc. Okay, and that's basically, we call it as a probing. It's called as a service probing. Okay, so software provides a number of features for probing computer networks, including host discovery and service and operating system detection as well. So yes, we have all the demonstration in the later part of this particular slide. So attackers often use Nmap to extract information such as what are the total number of live hosts in the same network, what are the different services running, what are the type of packet filters available, operating system and their OS version as well. Now this is very important. These are different scan techniques which we are going to discuss in detail. For the first is TCP connect or full open scan. The second is TCP stealth scan techniques. So basically, in stealth scan technique, we have four types of scan techniques. That is TCP SYN scan, FIN scan, NULL scan, and XMA scan. And the last is UDP scan. So all these are different scan techniques which we are going to discuss. So let's get started understanding the TCP packet header first. Okay. So in TCP packet header, we have flags over here. Okay, This is entire TCP packet header. This is how the TCP packet header looks like. Okay, it does have source port, it does have destination port, it is of total 32 bits, then it does have sequence number, acknowledgement number. But the main thing we have to understand over here is flags. So here in this portion, okay, as you can see, these are 6 flags: urgent, acknowledge, push, reset, synchronize, and finished. Okay, so urgent is basically to send the data immediately. Okay, like when we set urgent flag on a particular packet, it means that this data needs to be processed immediately. Finish, so basically if you want to terminate the connection, okay, if you want to terminate the connection, we will send fin packet or a fin flag on the packet, okay, along with the packet. Acknowledge, so if I say hi and you say me hi, okay, so you have acknowledged me, you have acknowledged my hi, so that's basically acknowledgement. Reset, so if I want to reset the connection, that's basically reset does. And push, push is if I want to send the data in buffer, so I will use push. And one more flag here is which is missing over here, I'm not sure why. It's syn, synchronized flag. Okay, as we have seen over here, there is a syn flag also. So syn is basically to initiate a connection with someone. If I want to talk to your, like if I want to talk to your computer, I will send a syn flag along with the packet on a particular port, and that's when the connection can get established. Okay, so syn is basically to initiate a connection. So first of all we send syn packet, then we get acknowledgement, and then we can establish a connection. So we'll understand like how the connection between two computers gets established with the help of this three-way handshake. This is a really important concept, understand it very thoroughly. Three-way handshake, okay, this is TCP IP three-way handshake. Now look at here, this is computer A, this is computer B, and now computer A will send a syn flag on port number 80, okay, to computer B. If port number 80 of computer B is open, then computer B will send syn plus acknowledgement. Okay, so this is synac. And finally, when computer A receives synac from computer B, then computer A will send acknowledgement flag to computer B, and that's when the connection can get established. Okay, if you complete three-way handshake, if the three-way handshake is getting completed between two systems, only then the connection between two systems can get established. So this is three-way handshake. Okay, it's kind of a different Facebook request. I'll explain you in that way. If I want to be your friend, I will send you a friend request. Okay, then on looking at my friend request, you will accept my request and you will send me a friend request. Okay, so accepting the friend request is acknowledgement, and now you will send me a friend request, so that's basically syn. So this is synac, right, when you send me a friend request in return. So finally I will accept your friend request, that's basically final acknowledgement. So it's kind of a different Facebook friend request, but you can understand in that way. So syn, synac, and ac, and that's when connection can get established. And this is the scenario. Okay, this is the scenario if the port is closed. If the port number 80 of the computer B is closed, then computer B will send a reset flag. Okay, RST, because the port is closed and computer B cannot communicate to computer A. That's why computer B will send a reset flag. So this is how the three-way handshake works. Okay, so here is the same thing. Here's the same thing. TCP connect or full open scan is here. So this is the client, this is the server. We send syn flag on a particular what I can say port number, and then server sends back synac, and finally we send what I can say acknowledgement. Okay, if this gets accepted, like look at there, TCP connect uses connect function of Unix operating system, and that's how the connection gets established with the help of TCP connect scan. It uses three-way handshake mechanism. Okay, TCP connect scan uses three-way handshake mechanism to determine whether the remote port of a remote computer is open or not. So these scan techniques are all about scanning different ports using different techniques on a remote system or a server. Okay, so here you can see connect is being sent, then listen and accept is being received, then connect function is getting, this is server is again sending a connect function, and finally acknowledgement is being sent, and finally acceptance will be here. Okay, and that's when the connection can get established. So based on this we will determine, okay, whether the port is open or not. So I told you, right, the same process will happen in TCP connect scan. Okay, if you get a response from computer B, it means the remote port is open on which you are scanning. If computer B sends you a reset flag, then port is closed. Okay, the same methodology or the same process will happen in TCP connect scan, like three-way handshake. So basically TCP connect scan uses three-way handshake mechanism to determine whether the remote port is open or not. So as I've told you, TCP connect scan uses a connect function of Unix operating system. It detects when a port is open by completing a three-way handshake. It establishes a full connection and tears it down by reset packet. As it establishes a full connection, it is noisy. Understand, this is a disadvantage of TCP connect scan. It is noisy. Now when I say noisy, it means that it sends too much of data to a remote system, okay, on which you are scanning, and they might look into their logs and find out your IP address, that someone is scanning into our machine. And again, understand, scanning randomly on any machine, on any IP address, on any domain is illegal. Yes, performing a scanning on any machine, on any IP address, on any domain name is illegal. Okay, make sure you understand this. So yeah, all the attempts to scan different ports will be logged in the target server or system, of course, right? So if you are scanning 10 ports or 100 ports of a remote computer, then understand, you will send approximately 300 requests, okay, or 200 requests to scan 100 ports. So because see, you have to do three-way handshake, right? In TCP connect scan you have to do three-way handshake. So for scanning 100 ports, you will send 200 requests and you will get 100 response back from the client. So that becomes noisy. Okay, and that's when the remote computer on which you are performing a scanning, they might come to know that someone is scanning onto our machines. Now in order to have a trick over it, okay, we have different stealth scan techniques. So stealth scan involves resetting a connection before the three-way handshake is finished, making the connection half open. So before the connection gets established, we are going to abort the connection. Okay, and that's basically how we can perform stealth scan techniques. Because if the connection is not established, then our IP address will not be stored in their logs. Okay, attackers use stealth scan techniques to bypass firewall rules, logging mechanisms, and hide themselves as usual network traffic. Because if the connection is not established between two systems, okay, then it would look like a normal traffic. Of course the IP address will be sent, but it would look like a normal traffic. Okay, so now we have different scan techniques of TCP of stealth scan. So the first technique is TCP scan. Okay, TCP SYN scan. Here's the mistake. This is TCP SYN scan. Okay, it is considered as a half open scan. See, previously TCP connect scan was full scan, full open scan. Okay, if I go back, it's full open scan. Why? Because it completes the three-way handshake, and over here it is half open scan. This is TCP SYN scan. Okay, I repeat. Now look at this. Why it is half open scan? Computer A sends a SYN packet SYN flag on port number 80 to computer B. Computer B sends SYNAC, and computer A, without completing the three-way handshake, computer A is forcefully resetting the connection. Okay, why? Because our purpose is solved of scanning the ports, right? The purpose of scanning the ports is solved, and that's why we are resetting the connection. We don't want to establish a connection and make the things noisy, and that's why it's half open scan. We are not completing the three-way handshake. And of course, in case if the port is closed, computer B will itself send reset packet to us. Okay, so we need to understand this. Then this is null scan or inverse TCP scan. Now this technique is used to bypass the firewalls, because firewall does not scan for deactivated packets, okay, over a network, or the packets with no flag. So I'll make you understand. Okay, consider this as a computer A, this is a computer B. Now in null scan, what do we have to do is we have to send three flags: urgent, push and finish. We have to send this three flags: urgent, push or finished. Okay, we can send like if I can only send urgent, I can only send push, I can only send fin. Okay, but the status of that flag will be deactivated. It will not be an activated flag, it will be deactivated. Like if we understand 0, we consider it as a deactivated. If you understand 1, we consider it as an activated, right? So either urgent will go, or push will go, or finished will go, but the status of that flag will be 0. It will be deactivated. Okay, and if you send that flag to your remote host on which you want to perform scanning, okay, and if remote host ignores the request, if remote host ignores your request, you have to understand that that particular port is open. If the remote host sends you a reset flag, then you have to understand the port is closed. Okay, I hope this explains well. Then we have Xmas scan. So Xmas scan is basically like, what is Xmas? Xmas is Christmas, right? So what is Christmas tree? So Christmas tree does have a lot of decoratives. So similarly, in this Xmas scan, we have three flags. Okay, we will send again three flags. So all these three flags will be sent together: finished, urgent and push. Okay, then these will be sent in an activated form, not deactivated like null scan. These will be sent in an activated form, and all these flags will be sent together. And based on the response, see, if you don't get any response, if your requests are being ignored, then you have to understand your port is open. Again, if you are getting reset, you have to understand your port is closed. Okay, then we have fin scan. So in fin scan, we send a finished flag along with the packet for a particular port, and if we are not getting any particular response from the server or from the client that we are scanning, then we have to understand the port is open. Again, if we get reset, we have to understand that port is closed. Then this is UDP scan. Okay, so all the TCP scan techniques are completed, and finally we have this UDP scan. So we have to send UDP packet. Basically we send this ICMP. Okay, we send this ICMP request. So if we send this UDP flag on this particular target host, okay, now again, if you are not getting any response, you have to understand the port is open. If you are getting reset, you have to understand the port is closed. Okay, so mostly you get ICMP requests, you send ICMP request, okay, in UDP scan, and you don't get any response, so you have to understand that port is open. And if you get reset flag, you have to understand the port is closed. So these are all different scanning techniques. I hope this explains well about all the scanning techniques. These are practicals. You can do it with the help of Nmap. Okay, you can do all of these scan techniques with the help of Nmap. Now I'll just make you understand about power of scanning, like why we are doing this scanning, what is the importance of scanning, what could be the outcome of this scanning. Okay, so it can help us in detecting IP address. Okay, what's the IP address of your remote system, what is the host name, what is the MAC address, what is the operating system running on it, what is the version of operating system, what ports are open and what ports are closed, service detection, so what service are running on a particular port, and along with the version of that service. And finally it can help us to detect the vulnerabilities, if any particular port does have any vulnerability which is a known vulnerability. Okay, then Nmap can show us that as well. So if you scan using Nmap, you can do all this. Okay, I hope you are following this. Now we'll quickly start with Nmap. Okay, Nmap is network mapping tool. If you want to download Nmap, you can simply go to nmap.org. Okay, so see, if you are using Windows, you may have to explicitly download Nmap from this website. Go to download section, and here you will have different binaries. Okay, like for Windows, for Linux, for Mac, you have different binaries, so download accordingly. If you are using any Linux operating system, then you have to download Nmap from this Linux repositories, like Linux binaries. And if you are using Kali Linux, okay, so for beginners who does not know about Kali Linux is a operating system made by hackers, made for hackers. Okay, earlier it used to be named as Backtrack. So after Backtrack 5R2 version, the name has changed because the developers of Backtrack wanted to come commercially. Okay, so the name has been changed to Kali Linux, but somehow still Kali is open source. It is not commercial tool. Kali is an open source. It's one of the most favorite operating system of hackers, and it does have all the tools integrated regarding hacking. Okay, so if you want to hack into a web application, if you want to hack into a network, if you want to hack into maybe infrastructure, all the open source tools are already integrated in Kali Linux. So I would strongly recommend download this Kali Linux operating system from the official website kali.org. Go to this downloads, and if you go to this download, yeah, you will get different images over here. You will get different images over here. So based on Kali, like based on your operating system, you can figure out what you can download from here. Okay, so make sure you download this, and because it will be useful, we are going to use it practically in the next slide. So yeah, these are different options for Nmap. Okay, Nmap options for different scan techniques. So if you want to perform TCP connect scan, you have to use this switch or this option. If you want to connect, if you want to do SYN scan, you have to do this. If you want to do fin scan, you have to type this. Okay, so these are different options for different type of scan techniques. Okay, and these are some of the commonly used Nmap options. Okay, so if I want to detect OS version, I will use -o. If I want to detect service along with the version, I will use -sv. Aggressive scan does everything. Okay, if you are doing aggressive scan, it will automatically detect operating system, it will automatically detect the services running on it and the version on it. Okay, if you want to scan top ports, okay, like let's say top 5 ports, top 20 ports, then -top -ports and specify the number over here. If you want to if you want the output, okay, whatever you are scanning, if you want that output to be printed in the text file automatically, then this is the switch, this is the option -o N and file name .txt. So it will output the results in text file. If you want the output in XML format, so -o X and file name .xml, it will output the result in XML file. If you want to scan a particular range of port, then -p and provide the range. Okay, so you can provide 1 to 65535 and scans all the ports as per the given range. If you want multiple items to be scanned, okay, if you want multiple items or multiple domain names to be scanned, then you have to provide this, like you can prepare a list in a normal text file. Okay, if you are scanning 3 websites, 5 websites, 10 websites, okay, or maybe you are scanning 3 systems, 5 systems, 10 systems, then provide the IP address of all of them in a form of a list in a text file, and then use this -il and type in your list. Okay, like whatever the file name is. So if you have named it as list.txt, type in it here, and Nmap will automatically pick one by one the domain name or the IP address that you have mentioned in your list file, and it will scan automatically. Okay, -a-t4. So this is again aggressive scan with multi-threading for faster execution. So this is really a good technique. And finally -pn, then -- script vulnerability, like basically VULN. This is for CVE detection using Nmap. So if you guys don't know about CVE, what is CVE? Okay, so like for any 0-day vulnerability is found, okay, cve.mitre.org provides a CVE number. cve.mitre.org provides a CVE number. Okay, and this CVE number is credited to a particular researcher. So if I find out a 0-day vulnerability, okay, in any particular system, like in any operating system, in any open source systems, then I will be getting that CVE number based on my name. So I'll quickly show you one of the CVE ID, CVE 2015 2002-286. This is CVE ID for my finding. Okay, I will show you. Now when I say 0-day, 0-day means that like it's not the completely new vulnerability, okay, but finding out a problem in the latest version of any particular open source software or operating system is considered as a 0-day. Okay, it could be the known vulnerability, like it could be, it should not be like completely out of the box vulnerability, but the like if you are able to find out a problem in the latest version of any operating system or open source software as a system, then you can consider that that's a 0 day. You can submit it to cve.mitre.org, and they will give you such CVE IDs along with your name, and this builds your credibility in security industry. Okay, this really builds your credibility in security industry. So I have few CVE IDs on my name. You can see it over here. uh, okay okay, I've reported one problem on OpenEdX. The severity was high, cross-domain referral leakage, and as you can see, reporter is Smith Shah along with my senior, and I have this on my name. Okay, so once you have a CVID, it will be published in lot of websites. Look at this, the same number is published on different websites in the world. So this creates a lot of chaos. Okay, not the chaos, but I can say popularity for your name. Okay, so this is what about CVE, and this is one of the important thing, exploit-db.com. So if I find out a problem, if I find out a vulnerability, and then if I have the exploit of it, I can submit my exploit to exploit-db.com, and exploit-db.com will have the exploits over here. So look at this, it's completely, it is a complete exploit database for almost all the technologies in the world. Okay, so you name the technology and it's here. So let's name it Fortinet, which is a firewall company. Let's see if, okay, look at this, there are tons of, okay, there are a lot of vulnerabilities of Fortinet, and the exploits are also available. So if anyone is using Fortinet FortiClient 5.2.3, what I can simply do is I can go to this, I can download the exploit, I can trigger the exploit, and that's it. Okay, that's it. I can hack into that particular client if they are using Fortinet FortiClient 5.2.3. Again, it depends on what exploit does, what is the vulnerability, and what does this exploit do. It depends on that. But this is what I wanted to tell you about, like this -pn script vuln. This will detect if any particular service is having a problem, and it's already a known vulnerability, and it will also give you out the CVE number of that particular vulnerability if you use this nmap script. Okay, I hope this explains well about all of these things. Now let's get started with some live demonstration. So I have two operating systems running over here, Kali Linux, and I have Metasploitable 2. Okay, Metasploitable 2 over here. Okay, this is Metasploitable 2. Now Metasploitable 2 is deliberately created vulnerable machine. Okay, it's deliberately created vulnerable machine for practice purpose, so that you can practice different exploits, different vulnerabilities on Metasploitable 2. So we are going to look at this, but first let me open up Kali Linux, and I'm going to expand this. I'm not sure. Okay, so this Kali Linux does have nmap by default. Okay, nmap, and here it is. Here is the nmap. Okay, this is the man page, or I can say help of nmap. Now I'll quickly show you how you can get started with nmap. So first of all, first thing, I'll make you clear that this machine is on a bridged mode. This virtual machine, okay, is on a bridged mode, so it is directly connected to my router. Okay, the IP address of this machine is 192.168.0.18. The IP address of my base machine, let me go to my base machine. My base machine is Windows, so the IP address of this is 192.168.0.25. So look at this, they both are in the same range. Okay, so I have made a bridge. So if I do nmap -s -ss, so I'm doing synscan for now, and 192.168.0.1 to let's say 100. Then nmap will do port scanning, okay, using synscan technique on all the IP address which are up which are up. So let me quickly expand this and let me hit enter. So it will take some time because it's going to scan 100 IP addresses, and yes, it's done only in 12.22 seconds. So look at this, okay? Look at this, all the informations are here. So first one which Nmap found is D-Link router on 192.168.0.1. Which ports are open in D-Link router? 23, 53, 80, 81, 443, 4445, 888, 4 times 8, 4 times 9, and 49152. And these are different services running on different ports. So telnet is working on 23, domain, okay, it's working on 53, http is working on 80, host s2-ns is working on 81, https is working on 443, 4445 is working on up notify p is working on 4445, sun-answer book is working on 4 times 8, abyss is working on 4 times 9, and unknown, so like this service is unknown basically, okay, which is running on 49152. So like this, Nmap will give you out everything for different IP addresses. Look at this, 192.168.0.25. Now this is my base Windows machine. On my base Windows machine, these different ports are open and these services are running. Again, this is a Samsung phone which is connected, and it does have lot of ports open. If you can see, FTP 22, 23, SMTP, all these are ports. Okay, all these ports are open. Okay, so we now after scanning all this, okay, after scanning all this, the next step is to connect to different services and try to exploiting these different services. Okay, connect these different services and try to exploit these different services. Now also, Nmap does have a GUI version. If you don't want the commands, if you don't want to remember the commands, Nmap does have a GUI version which is called as Zenmap. So when you download Nmap, it will automatically be available. Zenmap will automatically be available. Okay, so here again you have to do the same thing. You have to give out the range which you want to scan. So 0.1 to 100. Alright, so it is automatically going to do -a, that's aggressive scan, with T4, that's multi-threading. Okay, and I'll do scan over here. I'll quickly scan. So you don't have to type the command, it will automatically type the command based on the profile you are selecting. See, you can select different profiles from here. Intense scan is basically an aggressive scan. You can quickly do a ping scan, you can do a quick scan, you can do a regular scan, you can do slow comprehension scan, everything. This is completely a user friendly tool, okay, UI based tool. So as you can see, all these different hosts are down. Okay, so the scanning is still running. The scanning is still running. You can just look at this. Okay, you can just look at this, it's blinking. So scanning is still running, and it might take a few more seconds to get completed. So let's wait. So this is how you can do Nmap. Try out different techniques that I've showed in the slide, and make sure you understand each and every technique. Compare the different outcomes of different techniques, and yeah, then try to connect different services and exploit different services. So I think it's taking quite enough time. Alright, so let it scan. We'll come back to this. We will come back to this, and I'm just going back to slides for now. Okay, now the next thing which is very important for system hacking is Metasploit. Okay, so Metasploit is an attacking framework designed and developed by HD Moore. Majority of the publicly available exploits for different technologies in different languages are converted in Ruby language and integrated into Metasploit framework for ease of exploitation. So these are referred as Metasploit modules. Okay. The key things to learn in Metasploit are exploits, payloads, encoders, and scanning for vulnerabilities using auxiliary scanners. So in Metasploit we have to understand about exploit. What is exploit? So in a layman term, if I can teach you, is uh, exploit is basically taking an advantage of vulnerability. Yesterday or in maybe in previous session, you must have gone through a presentation uh, where we showed you an example that a hacker, okay, who wants to hack into a network, okay, so he has to find out a problem in that network. So once after the problem is found out, then he needs to exploit the problem. Okay, so basically exploit is basically taking advantage of the vulnerability that we have found. So first of all, you'll find out a problem, which we call it as a vulnerability, and then you will exploit the vulnerability. Okay, so an exploit is the method by which the attacker takes advantage of flaw within the system. So I'm not going to read out this. Yeah. Then payload. In order to exploit the system, you need a payload. Okay, so payload is very important. If you want to exploit the system, you need a payload. You need to send something. Okay, so that's basically payload. Exploit means with like with which way. Okay, with which way the payload will be sent. So basically exploit means like if you know the loophole, how you are able to exploit it, how you are going to send a payload in a way that it gives you your desired output. Okay, that's what basically exploit and payload means. Payload is an important component to exploit the vulnerability. Then is encoder. Now many times antivirus machines, firewalls will detect your payloads which you are going to send, so you need to encode your payload. Okay, and for the same you have to use encoder. Auxiliary. So auxiliary module is basically a kind of a functionality to scan operating system for version, to scan services for version, to scan for banners, to scan for vulnerabilities. Okay, so if the by default service detection is not working, then maybe the auxiliary module of auxiliary scanner module will be available for a particular thing, and you can use that particular auxiliary scanner to detect the service of that particular service. Okay, I mean detect the version of that particular service. So that's when you can use an auxiliary module. Then yeah, these are steps. Like I'll explain you directly in the practical. Okay, show options and help and everything. I'll give you a detailed explanation. So let me go back to the Linux machine that we have. I'll open up this. Let's go into full screen mode. Okay, and Zenmap. So I think Zenmap is done. Yes, Zenmap has performed the aggressive scan, and you can see oops, it has gone to the next level. I think it has found out a lot of things. Wow. Alright, so D-Link router on 0.1, 23 is open, BusyBox Telnet. So see, it is finding out a version as well. So Telnet is a service running on 23, but actual thing which is running is BusyBox Telnet D. So now if there is any problem with BusyBox Telnet D, I can Google out, I can look into Metasploit if whether there are any experts available for BusyBox Telnet D. Okay, or I can go to exploit-db.com as well. Then I can exploit this service. Then on 53 the domain is available and the version is DNS MASQ 2.78. So if there is any problem with DNS MASQ 2.78 available on exploit-db.com or on Metasploit, I can easily exploit that particular vulnerability. So as you can see, it has gone to identify the DNS. Then on port number 80 we have a web application running. Basically what I can say is the router's interface is running, and on this URL okay, slash nice space ports trinity.text.bk. I think, I mean, this nmap tried to open this, but it has got 500 server error. Again, for this it has got 500 server error. So I think nmap was not successful in testing out those things, but still it does test for all of these things, which is good. On port number 81, host in host 2-ns is working. So these are the details. And on this, as you can see, trouble slash index.html redirect on this, it is giving 303c other, so it's not at least 500 error, and it may be useful. So we may go and check out this what it is. And so like this, you have to read out the entire report of nmap and understand what nmap has found out and what details are useful to you. This is okay, https response. Alright, so likewise we have a lot of things for different services. On 49152, okay, UPnP is running portable SDK for UPnP devices, and this is basically the fingerprinted stuff. Alright, and that's the summary. Okay, at the end here is the summary. So I hope you have got enough idea about learning nmap. Okay, now we are going to exploit this metasploitable 2. Alright, I'm keeping this open for now. Let it be open. I'll just go and I'll perform a scan. I'll do clear nmap hyphen, let's say, oops, hyphen sv, and what I can say is 192.168.0.71. Why 71? Because 71 is the IP address of metasploitable 2. Okay, how did I came to know? I checked out in this Zenmap. As you can see, for this metasploitable 2, the IP address is 192.168.0.71. Where it is? Yeah. Okay. So metasploitable 2 is running on this IP, and that's why we are scanning this first. So let's scan. It will give us the list of different services running on it. And let it scan. In the meantime, I will quickly open up my MSF console. So in order to do Metasploit, okay, you need to open up Metasploit framework in Kali Linux. Okay, so over here scanning is being done. Over here MSF console, that is Metasploit framework, is being opened over here. So let both of them run. So you can open up Metasploit by searching for Metasploit, or you can simply go to terminal and type MSF console. Okay, so with both the ways you can do it. So look at this. On Metasploitable 2 machine, these are different services running. So the first service running on FTP is VSFTPD 2.3.4. Then SSH is running. Then this telnet is running, okay, on 23. Then there is 1524 bind shell. Metasploitable root shell is running. So like this you can understand what different services are running, and I'll make you understand how to connect different services, how to exploit different services. We'll have few examples over here. So here the Metasploit is ready. So the first exploit that we are going to do is, let's exploit this FTP. Let's exploit this FTP service. So it is running VSFTPD 2.3.4. So let's search in Metasploit, search vsftpd. Let's, okay, by searching this, as you can see, we have got this, we have got an exploit available with vsftpd 2.3.4. okay, vsftpd 2.3.4 backdoor command execution. Wow. So look, search, like first step is to search the exploit. Then now we want to use this exploit, so type use and paste the copied exploit. So now we are into this exploit module. Next is show options. So in order to exploit this, we have to first do show options. Okay, so basically these options are the configuration settings that we have to first check, and if there is anything missing, we have to fill it up. So as you can see, our host, okay, our host is missing, there is no value over here, it is required field. So we have to set our host. So our host is remote host. Remote host as in in our case the remote host is Metasploitable 2. So set our host 192.168.0.71 because that is the IP address of our host, I mean the Metasploitable 2. Again go back to show options and see, okay, our host is set. Now show payloads. In order to exploit, you have to set the payload as well. So the command is show payloads, and quickly we will have the list of different payloads which we can use. So there is one payload which we can use for now, this command Unix interact. So I'm copying this payload, copy, and set payload is the command. Set payload is the command, and paste the payload. So the payload is set. Again go back to show options if there is anything missing. So everything is set. Regarding payload options, there are no settings required. Finally, the final step in order to exploit this service is exploit. Type down exploit and you will be able to exploit the vsftpd. Okay, exploit completed but no session was created. So maybe the Metasploitable will not be up and running. Okay, so let me quickly go to this Metasploitable. Okay, so now I think this is up and running. MSF admin. Okay, now we are logged into this, and let's go back to this Kali Linux and let's do the same thing. Everything is set. Okay, can you see this? Found shell, command shell session 1 opened, and now I can just type ls. Now this is the list of directories available in my Metasploitable 2 machine. Okay, if I go and check ID is root, so I am a root user of that Metasploitable machine, which is a separate operating system running in my virtual machine, and I am able to access it. If I type in who am I, it will give me root, so I am the root user, I have all the privileges. Okay, so that's how you can exploit this service and you can gain an access to someone's system. So this is one of the example. Let's look at something more. So I'll go back and type exit. Okay, I'll go back and type exit. Yeah, clear. All right. Oh, okay, we have to open up Metasploit anyway, so I'll go and type msf console, let it open. Now I'll go back to another service. So here we have telnet. Okay, Linux telnet D is working. So let's simply try to connect this service. I'll do a very simple thing. See, in order to connect any service, you can connect with the help of telnet, and there are some special clients available for different services also. So new window, telnet. I want to connect to telnet 192.168.0.71, and port is telnet. Okay, 423 is basically for telnet. So with the help of telnet command, you can connect to mostly any particular port. So if you want to connect to any particular service, you can connect with the help of telnet. So telnet is working on my Kali Linux machine, and that's why I'm connecting to a remote telnet of a different system. But if I want to connect to any other port with the help of telnet, I can still connect. Okay, so it's not only like with the help of telnet we can only connect to a telnet service. With the help of telnet we can connect to any service. So I'm simply doing this telnet and I'm accessing this. Okay, now the main thing to notice over here is on doing this telnet, it is giving us a banner, and in this banner we have the admin username and the password. So in this metasploitable 2 machine, they want to make us understand that do not put sensitive details in banner, because if somebody tries to connect to your service and if the sensitive details like this username and password are available in banner, then they could easily exploit this. So I have the username, I have the password MSF admin, and then I am able to access the metasploitable 2 with my Kali Linux machine. Okay, so I'll go and check ID. So my ID is MSF admin. Okay, I'm not a root user over here. I'm not a root user over here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll do sudo. I don't have, yeah, I have password as well. MSF admin. Okay, sudo MSF admin. Oops. Let's check and who am I? MSF admin, and let's do sudo once again and MSF admin. Okay, so maybe MSF admin is not the password of the root user, but still we can find out some privilege escalation of this metasploitable 2, and we can get the root level access also. So what I can do is cd slash less id. Okay, who am I? Okay, it's still giving me MSF admin. Maybe we can just try out some other privilege escalation and we can get the root level access of this particular MSF admin. Okay, so that's not a big deal, we can do that. And one final thing which I would like to show you is this 1524, okay, bind shell, metasploitable root shell. So what we can do is telnet 192.168.0.71 and 1524. Directly we are getting root level access of this metasploitable machine. ID, now you can see we are a root user, and who am I? We are a root user. Okay, so this is how you can connect to different services on a different machine, and you can connect to different ports. Basically, you can use Metasploit to compromise different machines, and that's it for this particular video. I hope this explains well about system hacking and network hacking. This is a stepping stone basically. This is not the complete game, but I hope this explains well about everything that I've taught you in this particular session. Alright, so thanks for watching out this video. See you in the next video.